Anybody know what day it is? That's right, it's April Fool's, but instead of us fooling you, we're going to show you how to play a little trick on your friends and ride partners, especially the ones bragging about taking last week's city limit sprint. Everything stated here is intended merely as a joke, and we would never recommend pranking in a way that could ultimately lead to injury or bike damage. The last thing to note before we delve into this, don't play unless you're willing to pay. If you're going to initiate the jokes, be ready to receive them in return. Remember, revenge can be sweet. The Rattler. Our go-to prank is a super easy way to turn your buddy's handlebars into obnoxious noisemakers. This works best on road handlebars, but make sure if you're doing it with a mountain bar that the grips are plugged as well. Just remove the bar plugs, smear a touch of grease inside, and stick 2 to 5 ball bearings in the grease inside the handlebar. The bearings will eventually come loose and begin rattling around. If you're fresh out of ball bearings, small rocks will do the trick, and if you really want to stick it to your friend, use a tiny bell like the one that could be found on a cat collar. The Tubby Tire. Do your friends use removable valve cores in their tubes? Go ahead and undo the cores and rotate the wheel so the valve stem sits at the top. Fill either an old 2-ounce Stan's container or a turkey baster with water, then fill your friend's tube with as much water as possible. Once it's as full as you can get it, reinflate the tires to their original pressure and watch them suffer up the climbs. Note, the same thing can be done with ball bearings instead of water if you'd rather let them hear what's happening. Put a small slit in the tube, insert bearings, patch tube, and smirk. The something's fishy. Really want to get your friend good? Note their seat post position with a piece of Scotch tape and then remove the seat post. Place a nice little slab of fresh fish down towards the bottom bracket and reinstall the post. Tin sardines work great here. Just give it about a week and you'll smell them coming from a mile away. This is a mean one, so be prepared to catch a little revenge. The Sidewinder. One of our all-time favorites is misaligning the stem in between rides, but only ever so slightly. Loosen the stem bolts and give the stem just enough of a nudge to be slightly off-center, but not noticeable at first glance. Be sure to retighten the stem bolts. The Feel the Burn. Feeling downright cruel? Go ahead and fill their chamois cream with the embrocation of your choosing. Now that's what I call a burn. You may have to stop at the ER instead of the coffee shop while your victim is treated for burns. Your trip to the ER after your friend gets a hold of you will probably come when you least expect it. The Tiny Lid. The next time you're stopped at a coffee shop, get your friend's helmet and kindly make a few adjustments. We'd suggest dramatically shortening the chin strap and completely misaligning the straps around the ears. Simple, but effective. The Long Game. If subtle mind games are more your style, we'd recommend lowering your friend's saddle by 2 millimeters every single time that you see him or her on a ride. See how long it takes them to notice they're slowly getting taller or shorter. We hope you enjoyed this week's Ask a Mechanic, and remember, watch your back. If you want your question asked on Ask a Mechanic, presented by Cyclery, send your inquiry to webletters@competitorgroup.com.